Well, tēnā koutou katoa whānau. Welcome back to the show. As inflation rises, the cost of living in this pandemic has definitely created a rise in the cost of things, and in particular, our kai. Looking at our kai maara and alternatives are becoming more and more common for our people. Today, I'm actually joined with Pounamu Skelton regarding the sustainable practices of cultivating kai the way our tūpuna did through a Wānanga, which is actually coming up this Wednesday and Thursday. And what's really cool about this Wānanga is it's online. Like a lot of things at the moment, everything seems to be going online. So I'm very intrigued to hear more about this kaupapa. Kia ora, Pounamu. Welcome to the show.
Kia ora Lea, and tēnā koutou katoa, huri o Taranaki Maunga, nō reira. He mihi nui ki a koutou, tēnā koutou.
Tēnā koe. Hey, this sounds really, really cool. Can you shed some light into what does it mean by exploring the future of sustainable practices inspired by our tūpuna?
Yes, well, the Wānanga is called he whenua rongo. So it is a karanga out to our people to come together as one, as we spend 2 days talking with kai producers across Aotearoa. And it's a call to a movement to start working together. Because as you said in your intro, there is an emergency going on. And in particular for our beautiful hine ahu one, or our dawn maiden of soil. So we actually only have like 60 harvests left of topsoil left on our landscapes. Most of it ends up in the rivers, which then travels out to Tangaroa. So if you think about that, and then you think about where our food comes from, well, we really do have to act and enact. And we want to do that in an online forum, which is a Māori Kai and Soil Resilience Wānanga. So we are calling our people together. We are calling a time to reset our Māori food systems. Because as you know, we come from a long line of tūpuna who were able to feed themselves, feed their whānau, feed their hapu, feed their iwi. And now we find ourselves in this so-called modern era where now we can't even afford kai, especially fresh kai. It's become very unaffordable in our supermarkets. So we need to change that. And we still have the knowledge base here of people that carry that, the tikanga of maara kai. And so the next couple of days this week are going to be exploring all of those things.
Beautiful. And, earlier you spoke about, it's predicted that there are only 60 harvests left in the world due to this fast eroding rates of topsoil. When I heard that, I was quite baffled. What do you mean by topsoil? Is this the soil that you put on the top in your kai maara? Why is it that there's only 60 harvests left?
Yeah, so over time, with the ravages of tāwhirimatia and of modern agriculture, the decline of fertile soil has eroded. So it ends up being, because when you leave Papatūānuku bare, then wind comes along, rain comes along, and all that good fertile soil, which food grows in, ends up in the rivers, and into lakes. And it clogs them, and then eventually it gets pushed out to Tangaroa. So we used to have big depths of topsoil, and now we've barely got a spade depth. So we're losing it because modern agriculture just does one monocropping. Nature's all about diversity. We don't all want to be the same. We don't want to eat the same food. Diversity is the spice of life. So when it comes to growing food, we don't just want a potato on our plate. We want a kumara and a pumpkin and if we're lucky, a kamu. So it's the same with the growing practices. We need to reinstall growing soil. And we do that by things like composting. Yeah, by growing green. Yeah, there's practices you do to build the soil.
So, yeah, composting at home is becoming quite common nowadays. And obviously that's going to really affect our soil and create more of that topsoil, right?
Yep, it's all about hini ahuoni, like good soil grows good kai, which then we get to eat. So, healthy tangata, healthy whānau.
Beautiful. Okay, I kind of understand a little bit now. He Whenua Rongo is going to be featuring information around soil resiliency. What do you think makes good soil, apart from obviously composting, but what would be your kind of whakaaro on good soil? What makes up good soil?
Yeah, soil's beautiful. And from my experience, soil's been very healing. If we think about the creation of human beings in our creation stories, half of us, the creation story talks about hini uku, the creation of woman, and then the imbuement of atua. So if we think about that as a concept, we are actually wakapapa to soil. And so just go back to the pātai. What makes up good soil? Well, it's definitely it's stopping or avoiding any degradation. So not walking over her mana for a start, so that's things like we don't spray, we make sure that she's not bare, we feed her good nutrition, just like we would our children. As we've noticed, the summer's got warmer, so we protect her with a layer of mulch so she doesn't dry out. Yeah, and we grow food that nourishes, it doesn't take. So it's a bit like you've got to have balance, like, in nature to end up with fruition. So, yeah, it's keeping the balance.
Yeah. All righty. Oh, that sounds really cool. Interesting. I'm learning new things. With this Wānanga that's coming up on Wednesday and Thursday this week, what can we expect from the Wānanga?
Well, it's very exciting. We've got a huge lineup of amazing speakers from all over the country. So some of our keynote speakers are Dr. Jessica Hutchings, who is an expert in soil science and also tikanga Māori and hoa parakori. So she kicks us off with a couple of our superstars from Papatuanuku Marae, talking about actually urban Māori economies and marae growing of kai. So they've done extraordinary things up in Māngere.
Nice.
I'm a keynote speaker, so I'll be talking about my great love affair and healing around Māori ora around working with soil. Okay, so that's happening. We also have a whole lot of breakout rooms. So there's something for everybody. We're going to have the voice of a rangatahi. Really important to find out what our young people think around more sustainable living, growing their own kai, recycling, reusing, repurposing. So we'll have a rangatahi voice throughout the Wānanga. We've also got mana maara, mana reo, mana whenua, so the revitalisation of te reo in the maara. And then we've got Pania Newton, who's an amazing speaker, talking about Māori urban food security. So really important because a lot of our whānau live in cities. So how can they create more connection to a maara kai, even if you live in an apartment or something where you've got no grass or no maara, you can join other people's community maara. So she's going to talk about, what's it like, how are they addressing food resilience in an urban context.
Wow.
Yeah, there's lots of really amazing speakers that will take us on a journey, I believe, to remembering about how our tūpuna used to live and to grow, so that we haven't just got food for today, but you've got food for 3 weeks away, 6 weeks, 6 months. That's true resilience, that you can feed your whānau today as well as 6 months out. And from my experience, a gardener always has way too much.
Yes.
Salad sitting in my backyard at the moment. We always grow way too much. So it's enough for us, but enough for your neighbour, enough for your hapu and your whānau.
Absolutely. That was a bit like my Fijo Tree this year. I love my Fijo Tree. I've got a good relationship with my Fijo Tree because my Fijo Tree just keeps going. It's like, just continuous amounts of Fijos. But thankfully, I was able to give that on to everybody because I just hate waste, hate it. And
Aye.
yeah, it was good that everyone was able to get some Feijoas this year. So yeah, those community gardens and stuff like that, I think is such an excellent idea and so beneficial for our whānau for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
marae gardens, all sorts of ways we can do it if you don't have your own little plot. But I always refer to the backyard as, that's the pātaka. What do I want for tea? I'll just go for a walk and I'll just collect a basket of stuff, and then we'll create something beautiful in the kitchen. So I haven't had to go far, haven't had to get in my car, haven't had to spend any money, yay. And
yeah.
And then actually what I'm feeding the whānau is fresh and beautiful.
Absolutely. How can people join this wānanga?
Yes, so we are still accepting people to not enroll, but to get involved until Tuesday, 6 p.m. So
Cool.
go to he wakakaiora.co.nz and there's a link under he whenua rongo. Just got to register. That will give you the Zoom details so that you can jump on in. So it goes for 2 days. So Wednesday starting at 9:30 and also then Thursday. We finish a little earlier on Thursday at 1 o'clock. So you can opt to come into 1 day, 2 days, or just receive the recordings. So there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Oh, beautiful. Hey, it's been so great chatting with you this evening, Pounamu. Was there any last words that you wanted to share with the whānau today?
I just want to say, he whenua rongo, what does the story of your whenua say? Does it need more food growing on it? This is a great opportunity to come together as whānau Māori to talk about and discuss. There's going to be breakout rooms where you can have your say, where you can participate in the conversation. That we do have a soil emergency. We do have a kai emergency going on where actually our own people can't afford kai. So we've got the solutions, we've got the tikanga, we've got the verification system if you want to go more commercial, called Hua Parakore, but actually let's do this together. Let's do it as a whānau Māori and get on board this movement. So actually everyone can live in abundance with nutritional kai to feed yourselves and your whānau. Anō reira, Leah, tēnei te mihi ki a koe, me koutou huri noa o te maunga nei, tēnā koutou.
Oh, thank you so much, Pounamu. Ngā mihi, thank you so much for your time and all the very best with the wānanga on Wednesday and Thursday.